Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to the Porter Says podcast. Welcome to a very special episode of the Porter Says podcast because, believe it or not, and it's quite wild to me, by the time this goes up on Friday, which will be Halloween, it will be a year since this podcast started. So this is the 1 year anniversary of the Porter Says podcast. I hope you stick around because I don't even know what this is going to be. It could just be another rambling, or maybe in the amongst of all this I could just come up with something in my head, and since it's going to be up on Halloween, maybe I'll come up with something horror related throughout, just for fun. And it's just wild to me that it's been around for a year, and even though it's not the most popular podcast out there, I want to give a big special thanks to everybody who's been sticking around and who's been supporting me, and I hope you keep it up. And I don't know how to fathom it. As you can see, I've got two new additions to the desk, to the setup. I've got this really cool neon light sign that says on air. You can't really see it because the lighting's a bit but it's because the lighting here, so it's not the best, but hopefully I can do something with that. Then this really cool Batman cow replica little bust statue that I got as a birthday present from the same person. And again, I won't give her name away because I don't know if she would want me to, but she also got me this, and I had said in the very first episode this was going to stick around and be in every single one since then, and it pretty much has been. So I hope to keep it up with this one. I hope this is going to be in every episode. So I guess to celebrate the fact that it's going to be Halloween when this episode goes up, I have actually decided to rank the Scream movies. Very off the cuff, I know. But I just finished rewatching them. I watch them every year and every October, so I figured why not? Why not go from that? So you guys already probably have an idea of what number one's going to be. But because I've talked about it a few times, but you don't know what my opinions are on the other films in the series, really. So yeah, let's get straight into it as this 1 year anniversary of the podcast continues. And I hope it continues for many more. I was hoping I would be on the 50th episode to do this, but you can't always plan it. So let's rank these films and let me know down below what your opinions are on the Scream films, and if you have enjoyed this podcast immensely. And I hope you continue to stick around because I have a feeling I'm going to be coming up with some other cool stuff, and at least I hope I do for the future. So, obviously from worst to best of the Scream series, at number 6, because 7's not even out yet. So at number 6, I have Scream 3. Now, to say that Scream 3 is the worst of the franchise doesn't mean that it's a bad movie. I really enjoy Scream 3. It's a lot more goofy than the previous two. It's still really fun, and I think the ghost face reveal is pretty good. Spoiler alert for every movie in the series, by the way. With the Ghostface being Roman Bridger, who was the director of Stab 3, which is kind of the movies based on the Woodsboro attacks and all that stuff like that. So they really go into that and how meta they can be. With him being the mastermind of everything that's been going on for the previous two movies, everything to do with Sydney's mother and all the stuff with Billy and Stu and Mickey and Mrs. Loomis, who were the killers of the previous two movies. It's a really enjoyable Scream movie. It's got a great finale as always. And that just goes to show how good the series really is if you have a movie that's just good, especially for a horror series. So at number 5, I have Scream 4. So this was the last movie that Wes Craven directed in the franchise, because he unfortunately passed away a couple of years later. And obviously I think Scream 4 at that point was going to be the last movie in the series. Same thing with 3. They were always thinking this is the end of the trilogy. But we got Scream 4 in 2011. And I think from here on out, I think pretty much every movie in this franchise is pretty great. But they just get even better as they go on. Scream 4, we have obviously the returning of the legacy characters as they are known. So we got Sydney, we got Gail, Dewey, all those fun characters. But then you've got Kirby, you've got Jill, you've got Kieran Culkin's character of Charlie, I believe his name is, and a whole lot of other characters. And I think Scream 4 does a really good job at, being a great horror movie for this modern era, and talking about horror remakes and stuff like that. And I'm not the biggest fan of the killer reveal, so that turns out to be Kieran Culkin as Charlie, and then you've got Emma Roberts, I believe her name is, as Jill, who ends up being the other Ghostface killer. I like her motivation and everything, that she's essentially trying to become this modern version of Sydney. She wants to, get all this fame and attention and everything. And I will say that if this movie, it did have the balls to end with Jill actually getting away, a Ghostface killer getting away with everything. But then the climax goes on, it goes into the hospital, and turns out that Sydney is still alive because Jill stabbed her a bunch of times, and it could have been the end of her. But so I think Scream 4 is great. There's a lot of fun chase sequences. I think the opening is a bit weak. It just kind of goes on and on until we actually finally get the real Scream opening. I'm like, can we get to this, please? Number 4, I have Scream 5, or just Scream. I don't know why they just didn't call it Scream 5. I guess it was in that era where they were just bringing back all these sequels and just calling them the original title of what the original movie was. Nonetheless, Scream 5, you got a bunch of new characters. You get Jenna Ortega, Melissa Barrera. Of course, you get Dewey and Sydney and Gail back, just like the previous ones. But Sydney isn't, and Gail aren't in this one as much. It's really Dewey. David Arquette, who really gets to shine here. And it is the biggest shame that he is the legacy character who bites it in this one. And it's a really powerful scene, because the Ghostface who is killing him is like, it's an honor, Dewey, and really goes for it with the knife there. I enjoy a lot of the new characters. They're not quite as good as they are in Scream 6. I think they are much better in Scream 6 than they are here. This movie is very much into talking about how toxic a fan base can be, and, doing the whole thing of a requel, not a sequel or a reboot, just, it's a good mix of those things. That means the legacy characters and every character is kind of disposable at this point. I love the whole thing of never trust the love interest, which obviously turns out to be Jack Quaid's character of Richie, who is Sam's boyfriend. He turns out to be one of the Ghostface killers. And then you've got Mikey Madison as Amber, who turns out to be the second accomplice, and she's pretty much trying to be the Stu Macher of this version. Yeah, I mean, I don't have a ton to say about Scream 5. I don't think it deserves the hate that it gets. I definitely think Melissa Barrera did not deserve the hate that she got for this movie. I think she was really great in this one. Same thing with Jenna Ortega. And the opening scene, usually the opening scenes of these movies, with, the character who's in it is dead, but I like the fact that they turn it on its head and that Jenna Ortega's still alive. At number 3, I have Scream 6. Now, I just actually rewatched this a couple of days ago. I just finished the series a couple of days ago. And I don't know what it is. I really do like Scream 6 a little bit more than the previous one. I love the New York setting. I love that Ghostface is even more brutal. I mean, not necessarily the kills aren't as creative as you would hope they would be. It's just more stabbings and stuff like that. But he's definitely a lot more violent with them. the whole thing was like, you've never had a killer like me before, and definitely haven't, because he goes quite hard with this. There are 3 of them in this one, by the way. But it is definitely more intense than some of the previous ones. The subway sequence, especially, which I really wish wasn't. I don't know why it was in the trailer, because it would have been so much better if it wasn't. And I think the finale, while a bit stupid, a bit silly, it's a ton of fun. Like, it wouldn't be a horror movie and a Scream movie without it, to me. Scream 6 is just... It's a great movie. I loved seeing it in theaters with a bunch of people. So yeah, that's at number 3. And then at number 2, I have Scream 2. I've grown to love Scream 2 so much. I love the college setting in this movie. The characters, obviously we've got Sydney, we've got Randy, and we got Gail returning, we got Dewey returning, just like they always do in a lot of these movies. And it's talking about sequels, like, what do sequels do? Like, especially horror movie sequels, or just sequels in general. How, violence in movie theaters, like, do people, people getting killed at a movie theater and stuff like that, because the movie opens with that. I love the finale of the film. I pretty much enjoy every finale of the Scream franchise, but, this one takes place in the college theater. You got Mickey, who's played by Timothy Olyphant, I think, and then you got Billy Loomis's mother, Mrs. Loomis, who's portrayed by Sheldon's mother from Big Bang Theory. I don't know the actress's name, but nonetheless, she's definitely more unhinged, and her motivation is she just wants revenge. Scream 2 is awesome. And then at number 1, Scream. It's the best one of this franchise. It's an iconic movie. It's such a classic. I love everything about it. You guys already know when I did my top horror movies of all time, that it was number 1. Every time I watch it, I'm like, this is so good. Billy and Stu are, to this day, my favorite killers of this franchise. I love them, especially Matthew Lillard as Stu. He's just so unhinged and crazy. The way he delivers his lines, like, you can tell that his character doesn't really care about what's going on. He's just killing for fun, while Billy actually has a motive. There you go. That's my ranking of the Scream films. Sorry if it was all over the place, but I think that's what you guys have come to expect. I probably should have more structure to these episodes, because I have been told that I don't really have too much structure. I am trying to get better in that. Again, a year of this. It was pretty much a year ago that I filmed the very first episode, and then on Halloween, this Friday, it'll be a year since the first episode went up. I want to thank you so much for tuning in to pretty much every episode if you have, and I hope you continue to stick around for future episodes, because that's going to mark this end of the episode of the Porter Says podcast, the 1 year anniversary. And yeah, I will see you guys next time. Take care.